It's often referred to as one of America's most iconic landscapes with colossal mesas and panoramic vistas. It's no wonder, really, that it's been featured in countless movies and television shows, and in person, it will take your breath away. I'm Todd Newton. Welcome to the Tattooed Traveler, and welcome to Monument Valley. The Navajo culture is strong here. The Navajo are a proud people, and just as I crossed over the Utah-Arizona border, I met a Navajo gentleman by the name of Earl. I would put him in his late 70s, early 80s. I asked him, what makes Monument Valley so special? And Earl put it perfectly when he said, well, this is where nature's wonders and human spirit intertwine. Truer words have never been spoken. And how about those colors, shifting from orange to red against the clear blue sky? As I mentioned at the top of the show, this backdrop has been featured in many films, including the American classic Forrest Gump. Without a doubt, one of the most memorable parts of the film is when Forrest, played by Tom Hanks, of course, is running across America with those elegant strides of his. And that's exactly where Monument Valley is prominently featured, specifically this stretch of highway behind me. This is Highway 163, mile marker 13, an area now known affectionately as Forrest Gump Hill. The film, which won an Academy Award for Best Actor for Tom Hanks, also stars Sally Field, Robin Wright, Gary Sinise. And it's the story of a mentally challenged man from Alabama who loves his neighbor Jenny. Well, when Jenny leaves town, Forrest deals with his newfound loneliness by running and running and running some more. Eventually, he crosses the country several times over the course of a few years. If you come to Forrest Gump Hill for a photo, just keep in mind, you want to be careful. This is still an active highway. And as is often the case on our tattooed travels, sometimes the best views are just off the highway, like these dinosaur tracks. Came across these in Tuba City, Arizona, just on the other side of the border. And when you see a sign like that, you know you have to pull over. From what we could find online, these tracks are legitimate, and they are the tracks of the Dilophosaurus. Scientists believe Dilophosaurus roamed the western United States about 210 million years ago. They stood about 6 feet tall, were about 20 feet long, and their diets primarily consisted of fish. Doesn't cost you anything to pull off and see the footprints. There are some Navajo tour guides standing by who will, for a small gratuity, point out the biggest prints, give you a little information, and even snap a photo for you. Couldn't resist, you know? As they say, life is about the journey, not the destination. And on our journey, right off U.S. Highway 160, I came across the elephant's feet here in the Navajo Nation. Now, these are two huge, really cool erosional remnants of the Cow Springs member of the Jurassic Entrada Sandstone. That would mean these unique rock formations were deposited somewhere between 180, 140 million years ago. There's a little parking lot if you want to swing off the highway and safely park your car, snap a couple of those pics. Now, when it comes to lodging, where to lay your head here in Monument Valley, Goulding's Lodge always gets my vote. Goulding's has been around since the early 1920s. It was opened by a sheep trader named Harry Goulding, who was looking for a new business opportunity and a place to call home. Started out in tents, doing business with the local Navajo people, trading food and other goods for handcrafted items like rugs and jewelry. Thus, the Goulding's Trading Post was born. And with views like that, it's no wonder it didn't take long for Hollywood to come calling. Harry was able to convince famed Western director John Ford to use Monument Valley as a location for several of his movies, a lot of them starring the Duke, John Wayne. Stagecoach in 1939 is one. Harry Goulding and his wife even made cameos in that one. This cabin, which was originally Mrs. Goulding's potato cellar, was featured in the John Wayne movie. She wore a yellow ribbon, and it was used for the exterior shots of the personal quarters for the Cavalry Post's commanding officer, Captain Nathan Brittles, played by John Wayne himself. As you can see, a lot of history. Between the years 1939 and 1964, John Ford made a total of 7 movies here in Monument Valley, and most of them starred John Wayne. Truthfully, you couldn't ask for a better backdrop. When filming here in the Valley, the director and most of his major stars always stayed here at Goulding's Lodge. And that's the view that brought him back time and time again right there. The Mittens, Buttes, mesas. Just magnificent. Everything you see, the lodge, the general store, the trading post, even the museum was constructed around 1928. That was just 7 years after Harry Goulding purchased all of this land. 640 acres in total. How'd you like to have this as your backyard? One more angle of the exterior of John Wayne's cabin, the old potato cellar here, just because I'm a John Wayne fanatic. Perhaps what Monument Valley is best known for, around the world actually, are these incredible sunrises. Even if you're not an early riser, I tell you what, it is worth it to set the alarm, throw on some warm clothes, crawl out of bed, and come take this in for yourself. This view, which I can never get enough of, is actually from the deck of another motel called The View. The View is a little closer to these formations than Goulding's Lodge, and you just want to get as close as you possibly can. And this is on a cloudy morning. Just imagine if the sky was clear. The loop here in Monument Valley is 17 miles long. They say it'll take anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours to drive it yourself. The park opens at 8 a.m. My suggestion is to take one of the tours that are led by a Navajo tribal member. They can point things out that you may not see online. And although they say this road is drivable, my car, which is a 4-door sedan, had a tough time of it. If you take one of the tours, which will last you about 3 hours, cost right around $85, you're in a Jeep or a van, makes life much easier for you. And all you want to do is to be able to clear your mind and take in that view. Hope you enjoyed our visit to Monument Valley. Mother Nature has done it again, hasn't she? Be sure to tell all your friends and fellow travelers about the Tattooed Traveler. You can catch up on past episodes and order your brand new Tattooed Traveler t-shirts and hoodies at thetattooedtraveler.com. I'm Todd Newton, and until we meet again a little further down the road, travel safely.